Hello, my name is Sydney Shepard, and I'm joined by my partners Morgan Lane and Danielle Douglas. We are three ecosystem management technology students at Sir Sandford Fleming College in Lindsay, Ontario. And today we would like to talk to you about the digital divide, a lesser-known symptom impacting communities during the COVID-19 pandemic.
The recent COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in almost 40% of Canadians moving to a work-from-home lifestyle. As a result, it is essential to connect Canadians to the internet to continue their employment and education from home, while remaining physically distant to continue to flatten the curve. Unfortunately, those living in rural areas are disproportionately affected by this shift to a work from home, as only 30% of Canadians living in rural areas have access to recommended internet speeds for home use. Current internet communication, such as fiber optics, requires the installation of underground wiring to connect homes to the internet, as we can see here in this photo. Installing fiber optics is very expensive and can be damaging to the environment. In contrast, Broadband Over Powerline's internet communications uses existing powerline infrastructure, as seen and outlined in this diagram, and users would only need access to an electrical outlet to use this form of internet communication.
To determine if broadband over powerline communication is an appropriate form of internet connectivity to solve the digital divide, we compared internet speed, effectiveness, costs, and environmental impact of fiber optics and broadband over powerline and compared results. To compare the difference in the environmental impact between broadband over power lines and fiber optic communications, we looked at the life cycle assessments of each. A life cycle assessment is a measurement tool used in sustainable development, which considers each step of the process in product implementation, including resource mining and production, as well as installation and years of use.
We compiled and compared our data in the table presented here. First, we will look at speed or effectiveness and cost. Speed requirements of broadband over powerline do not meet the current standards laid out by the Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission, while fiber optics meets and exceeds this standard. Broadband over powerline speeds are also influenced by the number of users actively using the internet at one time. Fiber optic costs are higher per user due to its requirement for new infrastructure, whereas broadband over powerline deployment makes small alterations to existing infrastructure, lowering this initial cost. Next, we will look at environmental impact. These values were gathered by looking at life cycle assessments for each mode of communication. Again, because fiber optic requires new infrastructure, the environmental impact is significantly larger and can be measured by equivalent CO2 emissions per 100 kilometers of infrastructure. The impact of broadband over powerline, on the other hand, can be accounted for by daily use of existing infrastructure, limiting the life cycle assessment, value, and results. It is also important to note that 99% of Canadians are already connected to existing powerline infrastructure, meaning broadband over powerline deployment could be carried out relatively easily.
From our research, we have concluded that broadband over power lines as a form of internet communication is a far more environmentally friendly and low-cost solution to connect rural Canadian communities to internet when compared to fiber optics internet communication. In the future, research is needed to improve the speed capabilities of broadband over power lines to connect all Canadians with fast, reliable internet, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic, to curb this digital divide.
We would like to thank everyone involved in putting this conference together and allowing us to present ourselves and our work. We would also like to thank Michael Fraser and Barb Elliott of Fleming College for mentoring us throughout this process. Your support was invaluable to the success of this poster and our confidence in the work. We look forward to seeing you in our Zoom room during the conference if you have any questions. Thank you.